Hello, I'm Tim from SPIE, and I'm going to show you how to use the SPIE Conferences app. Now, the thing about apps is you become more familiar and therefore more comfortable with them as you use them on a frequent basis. However, a conferences app you may only use 1 or 2 times a year because you may only go to 1 or 2 conferences a year. So that's the idea of this video, right? We're going to try to show you all the basic functionality here so that you can use this as a resource to refresh your mind as to all that you can do with this app. And you're going to find it's a really valuable tool when you're at an SPIE event. So let's get started. First thing, obviously, you got to download the SPIE Conferences app. And when you do so from your device's app store, you'll see a little icon like the one you see here. Tapping on that will take you into an event. So here I've got SPIE Optics and Photonics. Now the first time you actually go into this, it'll be at this screen here. This is the SPIE event screen where you can choose among all of the events that are on offer in the near future from SPIE. So you can see SPIE has a lot of events coming up. We also have a number of events that have already passed, and the app will actually keep past events available in your app for a certain period of time. So you can see there are some past events here that you could still get into and look at the program. But we're going to look at SPIE Optics and Photonics. So I'm going to tap that one here. You'll get a splash screen. And here you see that landing page for that particular event. Now, it's important when you first enable this app that you log in with whatever login you used to register for the event that you're going to. So if you do so, you're going to get a lot of really good functionality, adding things to your schedule. You'll be able to create things like a trip report. If you're a session chair, you'll be able to do the session report. And that's all functionality that I'm going to show you how to do. So you're going to want to log in with, again, the email you used to register with. On this screen, you can see at the top, there's that SPIE events link that takes you, again, back to all of the events on offer. And then there's also to the top right is a help link. And what you get if you pop that up is an opportunity to contact support. You get a way to reload the event. Now this is extremely handy when you're not finding something. If somebody has been added as a speaker to an event, if we've changed something in the schedule because somebody was delayed due to travel problems, we're constantly updating the event even while we're at the event. So it's good, especially when you're on Wi-Fi and you don't have to use your data, to reload the event as often as possible. So you can do that with that button there. Typically when it opens again, it will ask you if you want to reload the event too. Now at the very bottom, you'll see that we have a link to view also our privacy policy. So that's the top bar. Below the SPIE Optics and Photonics showing the location and the dates, we have 5 major areas of functionality for this app. You'll see that the top one is events. That will cover all technical conferences, but also the courses and what we call special events. Now, special events are those things that are unique and they don't really fit elsewhere. So that could be the welcome reception, that could be a diversity event, that could be an opportunity to go pet bunnies, which we've had. It can be a special technical panel. All sorts of things fit under that special events umbrella that don't fit under other places like the courses, the exhibition, or technical conferences. The second part here is people. And that's a way to find anybody who is somehow related to the event. The next is the exhibition, where you can find all the companies that are exhibiting on the floor at the event. The job fair will show you who is specifically looking for employees at the event, and the courses will show you the courses on offer. I will go systematically through all of these So you can see the functionality behind them, and then we'll go and we'll work on that bottom bar, and I'll show you what those things on the bottom bar really help you do. Now you see that we have a more section. That's a grab bag for anything that doesn't fit under those top 5 above. Now, let's start with events. Tapping events will give you a new screen that looks like so. At the top, you see date, title, and grid, and then there's an ellipses. This is the sort functionality that controls all of the content below. So if we choose date, it is sorted by date, by title. We're looking at conferences sorted by title. And grid, grid looks like so. Now this is pretty cool because you can see throughout the week when certain things happen in a graphical view. Hitting the ellipses, you can see that you can even sort by the room, or you can do it by conference number. So whatever you might know about the thing you're trying to find, you have a way to sort by it. Now, there's a search bar there. I'll show you that in a minute. It's pretty self-explanatory. Below that, though, is an interesting area of functionality. This slides side to side, and that's not necessarily apparent at the get-go. But what this is, these are tabs that will change what's below it to show you the content that's specific to that tab. So here we can show all the special events. We can show the sessions of the conferences, and we can show the courses. And you can see that each of these has sort functionality up at the top. Again, here's the courses, sorted by date, title, level. We can view them by grid, like so, and so forth. Same thing with sessions, title, grid, etc. Now again, if you want to search events, I've typed in a few different things here you can see. So I type optical, for example, and that will give you everything that has optical in the title or the description. Now you can choose one of these, either here or in the major conferences browse. So let's look at liquid crystals. If we go into liquid crystals conference, you can see again we've got things sorted in that conference by date, title, session, or by paper. You can do it by paper. And you can take this conference and this functionality right under where it says liquid crystals and the conference room 7A that it's at, you can add it to your schedule. So you can add the entire conference to your schedule by tapping here. And I've just done so. You can also put a note. Be sure to visit this one. And that will save this note when you click Save on the top left into your schedule. Now, this is really cool. This is one of my favorite functionalities of the app, is the locate functionality. Locate will actually bring up a floor plan of the event, and you can see that it's colored now in sort of a pink. That's where the Liquid Crystals Conference will be held, over in that room over there, 7A. You can see some other pink on the map. That marks other things that I have added to my schedule. So when you look at our map, anything you've added to the schedule will have pink on it, and you can kind of get an idea of where you're going to be situated in the event. Now, this is the presentation area. You see that over to the side here we have a tab that says Chairs or Program Committee, and you can see everybody who is involved in this conference. So the chair up at the top, and then the program committee names in alphabetical below. So I'm going to hit the back button and go back. Now we have the next area, the people area of the app, gives you a list, first in alphabetical order because that's the name sort above. You can also sort by affiliation. Let's do name. And that shows you everybody who is somehow attached to the event. So these will be authors on papers, these will be presenters, these will be conference chairs and committee members, these will also be exhibit reps. Anybody who is somehow affiliated with the event will show up here. You can also use this little filter off to the side. So I press the thing at the top right, the three little lines in the circle, and this will help you filter what you're seeing in the results for people. So here I've chosen everybody in the technical program, all attendees that are registered or non-contributors, and all exhibitor reps. I can even filter down and say, only include those who we know are attending. So these are people who have already registered, but I'm not going to do that just yet. It's a little ways out. People are still registering, so I'm going to leave that off, and I'm going to say OK. Now, this is mostly useful as a search bar. So you can see in the past I've searched for Joseph. I'm going to do that again. And by searching for Joseph, I get all the Joes or Josephs who are somehow attached to the event. You can see we've got Joseph Barry here. We've got 2 instances of Joseph Barry. And I do want to kind of keep you wary that we will see multiple versions of people's names. So just as you see in the technical literature, people's names show up in different ways, with or without their initials, you're going to see that here. And because clearly, presentations at an event are the precursor to those technical publications. So it would be kind of weird if you didn't see that. It just comes down to how people have put their names in. Sometimes people are a co-author and somebody else has put their name in. So we get lots of different iterations of people's names. We do our best to clean those up and make them work, but just keep in mind that you'll probably see multiple instances of somebody if they are doing multiple things at the event. And you see that here with Joe Barry. Joe is giving one of our plenary talks at the Sunday plenary. So let's look at that. You can see that he's going to be the presenter because next to Joseph J. Barry, you see a little microphone. So let's click on that and see that, yes, he is giving a plenary on Sunday, and it is on perovskite photovoltaics. I've already added it to my schedule, which you see here. So I can click that on or off, like so. So I want that added to my schedule. I definitely want to see that talk. I can put in a note about it. Yep, I'm going to see that talk. Save it. I can locate it. This is the plenary room here. You can see big 6A room where we hold the plenaries. I can even rate it after I've seen it. So, thumbs up, thumbs down. And this button here says that when this presentation has run and this individual has given us a paper for the digital library, you will get an email that alerts you that this paper is now available for download. And as an attendee, you get a certain amount of download tokens to download paper. So you can use one of your download tokens to download this paper. But clicking this button here on the far right says, yes, email me when this paper is available. Now, I can also go to look at the author, and you can see here Joe is the author. And again, that kind of takes you in the same sort of loop here. Now let's go back and look at some other Joes. So if I scroll down, I'm going to find a Joe who does a whole lot of stuff with us. Joseph Shaw. Now you can see him here, and again, we've got a couple different iterations here, one with his middle initial and one without. But it doesn't really matter because either one you tap on is going to take you to his record. So let's just tap that. And we can see he's attending. It says he's attending because we have detected a registration for him. And again, you can tap on this to actually add him and his stuff to your schedule. You can add his individual things here to your schedule. You can make a note. And if you hit View Profile, which is this one over here, it'll actually go to SPIE.org and pull up his full profile. Now, Joe's done a lot with SPIE, and you can see that here. He's on the board of directors. He's done oodles and oodles of stuff. So you're going to find lots of stuff with Joe, lots of presentations and papers he's given over the years. And you can see, if you go back to the conference, which I did by going to the back button here, you can see he's doing a lot here. He's a co-author, he's an instructor, he's chairing a couple sessions, so he's going to be really busy at the conference. Okay, so that's the people functionality. And again, you can sort by name or affiliation here. Going back again, let's look at the exhibition. So clicking exhibition, you're going to see all the companies that are on the exhibit floor at Optics and Photonics. Again, you have sort by company, and you can also sort by their booth number. And you can see there's one we haven't quite assigned yet because we're a few weeks out still. Back to company, you can use a search bar, and if you go in the search bar and say type laser, you'll get everything that has laser in its title, so the name of the company, or you will get laser coming up because it's in their description of their company. So either way, you're going to see them here, and it'll help you find them. And anybody who's got a sponsorship, they have a little sponsor logo off here to the side. So again, you can go in and let's pick somebody. Let's look at Coherent. And you can see Coherent is going to be at booth 542. Their exhibit reps will be listed here if you go over to that tab. And here you get not only a description of them as a company, you can add them to your schedule, which I'm going to do. You can add a note. When the locate functionality is ready, you can click that as well. We're still working on the floor plan for the exhibit, but it will work just like the one you saw for the conferences. And then you can even mark and say that you visited them. If they've supplied a company video, you can play it right in the app by just touching on it like so.
Adams.
Hitting the back button will take you back to the company listings, and back again takes you to the event homepage. Next, we're going to look at the job fair. So again, the job fair are companies that are specifically looking to talk with potential employees, and you can do the same thing here. You can sort by company or booth. You can search, and you can go in and look at each individual one. Now, BAE hasn't given us a description yet, or we haven't loaded it yet, I don't know which, but it will be available here. And like I said, you can add it to your schedule, you can add a note, or you can note that you visited it by clicking that button on the far right. Back again, and we're back at our home screen where we look at courses. So let's tap courses. And again, we have a little slider bar there. It's gone immediately to the courses tab. So this is another way to get at that courses tab. You can sort again by date, title, level, or grid, if I can get the ellipses to touch. My big fat fingers aren't letting me do it, but you've already seen that. And I can select, let's say I want to go and check out embedded optical systems. I get the description here. I can add it to my schedule, add a note, I can rate it. When the locate floor plan is available, I can choose that, and I can look at the instructor, Mike. Okay, going back again, I've shown you the basic functionality of these 5 areas, but now I want to show you the bottom bar. We've been sort of living in this program area the whole time, but there's other things down here that are very helpful. So if I click the next one, today, that will show me everything that is happening in the current day. And now we're ahead of the conference now. We're not actually there, but this will default to the current day. And you can see what's happening on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. And if you've actually chosen things, you can see them in your events. So I've chosen this session, session 8 for conference 12690. And so because it's running on Tuesday, it's showing up here. Same thing for the other days of the week. Sunday, I've picked a couple things. Wednesday, I have, and they'll show up here. If I look at all events, again at the top, I have sorting by time, by type. That's a little different here. You can sort, you have it by courses, special events, etc. Again, by title, and then by grid. Now the next function at the bottom is the My Meeting, and that's where you can see everything you've already selected in the app, or in My Schedule if you've been doing that on SPIE.org. As long as you've been using the same login on both, it'll all show up here. So say I go to Events, this shows all of those events that I've chosen by clicking Add to My Schedule, right? You can look at the people. So you can either do that, if I go back, you can do that here by clicking Events, People, Exhibitors, or you can go in here and I've actually got the people and exhibitors that I can get at from this direction, either way. Search, of course, gives you a search throughout the entire event. And one more bit of functionality I want to show you here, Connect. So Connect gives you the opportunity, let me close that, to create basically a business card for sharing at the event. So when you've created your business card in here, and you can do it by clicking Edit, see Edit here, I can go in and I can put in everything I want to share, and these things are toggleable. I can share or not share my affiliation, my job title. I can put in whatever email I like. It doesn't have to be the one you registered with. I can put in my address, my phone number, etc. So saving. When they scan this code right here, then they will get whatever is visible to you right here and no more. And then when you scan somebody, you'll hit this scan button, and well, it should give me a pop-up that asks me to use the camera, after which you've accepted and you can scan their code as well. When you have a list of people that you've scanned, it will go in My Connections. I don't have any quite yet, so nobody's really showing there, but that just gives you an idea of where you would find that. Now I'm going to go back to My Meeting here because there's some interesting functionality that I haven't shown. So you remember I talked about the paper requests. Those will show up here. Notes will show here. But what's really cool is that all of this information can be sent to you in a meeting report. So you might have a boss waiting for a trip report when you go home. And so this will actually take all that information and send it to you in an RTF file so that you can pass it on to those who need to see that trip report. Or you can just, take it yourself, make some additional notes to it, and then pass it on. So clicking Save Meeting Report here will bring up an RTF document that you can send out to. I can send it to my wife so she knows I haven't just been spending all my time in receptions. I can send it to my colleagues, etc. Now, one thing I do want to show before we complete this video is the functionality of the session report. So I'm in My Meeting here, I'm going to my events, and I have asked to be included as a session chair, yes, on this session. So we put this in for the purposes of the demo. You can see that I am a session chair here. And as I'm looking at this, these are the individual talks that will be given in the session that I'm the pretend chair of. At the bottom of that, you see this button. It says Review and Send Report. When I hit that, it will remind me that, oh, I need to go up and look at these other buttons, which are the mark and comment buttons. Each of these, each presentation, you have the opportunity as the session chair. So this is only available to you if you are a session chair, and remember, you will have logged in with your registration email. You can say, okay, yes, this was presented, and oh, by the way, this was such a good talk, I want to make sure that we tell different journals that they should be looking at this. So I'm going to pick optical engineering, for example. And I can even make a comment. Good. And be sure to click Save up at the top. You can kind of barely see it because I've got recording on right now, but it's right there in the top right corner. So you can see it says it's presented now. And then same thing here, presented, save, presented, save. Now, once you've done that, it'll alert you that your session report is ready because you've marked them all as either presented or not. You've made notes. You've made any clicks to say, hey, this should be looked at by a journal. And you can review and send it by clicking here. Here's the session report. I can add additional comments. And then up in the top right, again, kind of under my recording bar, you'll see send. But I'm going to cancel that for now because I don't want to send that off. What that does is that sends it back to our staff so they are aware that those were presented, and they also will alert the journals. They should be considering this person and their presentation for incorporation into the journal. So they'll be asking them, would you like to take your presentation, your proceedings paper, and update it so that it can be considered by the journals that the session chair you have recommended. Okay, so I think I've shown most of the basic functionality here. Again, going back to the home screen, you've got the 5 major areas. If you aren't going to optics and photonics, you're going to a different event. You may not have all 5. There may not be a job fair. There may not be courses. There may not be an exhibition. But you will have the events and people at minimum. And this video hopefully has given you a means for refreshing your memory as to those things that you can use when you're on site and you're scrambling, you're trying to get to where you're going, and the last thing you want to do is try to relearn the app. Please come back to this video, use it as much as possible so that you become familiar and you can get around best at an event. Thanks again. Hope this has been helpful.